Hello and welcome. My name is Jonathan Gernon. This is my presentation for MPA 510 History and Theory of Public Administration for California Baptist University. Today we're going to be taking a look at the FBI and some opinions developed from the FBI. A survey of my coworkers within law enforcement has shown that the primary beliefs are that the FBI is ineffective and should be shrank, and some believe that the FBI is a great source of resources and should actually be increased. One of the things we're going to take a look at the end is just some recommendations that I might make. When talking to my law enforcement colleagues about the FBI being ineffective, one of the things that they pointed back to was on December 2nd, 2015, when terrorism struck. The FBI obviously became involved in the investigation due to the nature of the terrorism. One of the things that came into play was a county-owned company iPhone. The FBI wanted to get into the iPhone to try and find out if there's any other ties to terrorism, but Apple was saying, nope, not going to happen. Now, this was showing that it was ineffective, that it was inefficient. The process drug on for weeks on end. This is in direct contradiction to Taylor's scientific management. The FBI should be working in an efficient manner to try and solve these problems. Now, one of the things that people don't look at is going back to the Bill of Rights. You have the Fourth Amendment, which protects from unreasonable search and seizure. Given the Fourth Amendment, all you really need is a warrant to get past it, so it really shouldn't be too hard for the FBI to go down this route or to talk a company into actually honoring the warrant that was signed by a judge. One of the other things that was noted for the inefficiency and the ineffectiveness of the FBI were the investigations into Trump and into Hillary Clinton over the past almost year now. This is going back into Merton's bureaucratic structure personality. It seemed more that the FBI was just going through the paces because that's what the FBI was supposed to do. There was no goal in sight. There was no real delineation. They were just going through the paces. So, the FBI, is it done? Is it no longer useful? I believe that the FBI's usefulness still exists, but it's unable to perform the functions that it's supposed to in an efficient manner. Looking back at Downs and his life of bureaucracies. So, because of that, we'll get more into that when we get to our recommendations. Now, on the positive side of things, people saying that this should grow. One of the areas where my colleagues were saying that this should grow was in the area of cybercrime, child pornography, things online. Now, this was from people who work in that field and work directly alongside the FBI. So what has happened is there's been a new informal organization brought up within the world of cybercrime. It's looked at more in a grand scheme of things than it is as individual agencies. The people who do cybercrimes speak a different language. They talk computer speak. They talk different jokes than regular law enforcement. It's bred this small, informal organization within the larger organization of the FBI and within the larger organization of law enforcement worldwide. I have a video that shows the Attorney State Generals in Texas cybercrime unit. And after watching this, I think you'll see what I mean. Other cops don't go through the same things that those that investigate cybercrimes do.
Day after day, a team of investigators in Austin spends hours in front of a computer screen. They see things too horrifying to talk about while chatting up predators to keep your kids safe.
But I don't believe any community in the state of Texas is completely immune or safe from child predators.
This is an inside look at the Attorney General's Cyber Crimes Unit. This investigator is posing as a 14-year-old girl, and at least 6 men are chatting with him, believing he's a teen. While we were there, 2 of the men sent explicit videos.
You will never get used to it. I have never gotten used to the things that I see, and every time I think I have seen everything, I see something else. Lets me know that I haven't.
This investigator's phone won't stop ringing because another man is trying to talk to who he thinks is an underage girl. Officers will pose as children as young as 9 years old. They'll talk to predators for a year or more, or as little as 45 minutes before making an arrest. The conversations are recorded and several social networking sites are used. Lieutenant Kimberly Bustos has been with the unit since shortly after it launched in 2003.
The predators are now more educated, for one. Secondly, there's so much more accessibility. Cell phones, there's webcams, you can do things on Xbox, iPods, all those types of things.
Just last month, the unit investigated more than 300 tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Since 2003, officers have made 292 arrests.
Now, given that they're on a daily basis investigating these types of crimes, obviously that's going to breed that informal investigation. Now, how does that come back to the FBI? The FBI's Cyber Crimes Task Force is part of a larger task force, but they oversee it. They're one of the foremost leaders in the cyber crimes world, and they are the ones that will go through and organize. They are the clearinghouse. They are the everything when it comes to the cyber crimes. And we're all part of a larger organization that's deemed the ICAC Task Force. On this map you see the little dots, and that is the station for each of the ICAC Task Force headquarters. Here in Los Angeles, we fall under the Los Angeles PD's ICAC Task Force. Now, this is actually delved into Grodzin's marble cake theory. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is a private organization. They do receive some federal funding, but they're a private organization. They are the clearinghouse for cyber tips. Hotmail, MSN, Microsoft, Yahoo, chat rooms, they all submit cyber tips to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It's then given out to the different task force, and they are the ones that investigate. Now, as far as this going into the marble cake, we've gone beyond just the federalism. We've gone beyond the 2 layers mixing together. We now have what I'm going to call the marble cheesecake. We've added a crust. We've added the cream cheese. We've changed it a little bit because now we're not only having state governments and local governments along with the federal government, now we have private entities working together as well. And it's all starting to really blur together into one thing. And that's how people are able to go out and do the jobs that they need to do. So, if you got to pick a side, I'm for reformatting the FBI. I'm for making them more efficient and more effective. They've been handcuffed by a lot of different things, by Congress, by laws that are put into place, and the whole organization needs to be streamlined. These are my references. And I'd like to thank you very much for viewing my presentation. Please take care of yourself and each other. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the discussion board. Thank you.